Well, if there's anything you can expect from lead ups to hardware of some kind, whether it's a revision or a brand new system, a new generation, anything, it generally are leaks. And whether they're real or they're fake, well, that's something that we usually have to wait until the system comes out for us to look back on the leaks and find out if they were real or fake. And a great example is that Foxconn leak that still is kind of mysterious to this day because they had some things right that you just could not guess. Battery sizes, for example, weights of the system and the controllers. It was very interesting. And now we have, apparently, as you're seeing in front of you, an image of what some people believe to be the back of the Switch Mini. Now, I have some concerns around this picture, and I do believe that it is fake. I guess I'll just tell you that up front. So I don't think this is actually a legitimate image of the Switch Mini. I think maybe somebody was just playing around 3D printing or creating a case for like how we see those on Amazon where you can buy replacement backs, just playing around with the idea of it, oh, maybe a Switch Mini comes out and they're going to sell these, because I bet you they will. They'll sell replacement backs. And that's what I think. They might have just been playing around with it and maybe tried printing one just to see if they could, come up with something or an idea, prototype. For example, this actually popped up on Baidu. It's a forum, a Chinese forum. So, of course, we go through with Google Translate as best we can and try to read things. They had some other information that was weird. It was kind of all over the place. They said, like, oh, it has a clock frequency of 384 megahertz for the GPU, and then they say the CPU stays the same and everything in terms of clock speeds. And that was kind of like it. It was such a weird leak. Now, this picture has made the rounds, although I believe the original is deleted at this point, probably because it may have blown up a bit further than they wanted it to. It's kind of what you'd expect, obviously, at this point, when we're leading up to the Switch Mini, which we believe is launching later on this year. I believe Nikkei recently reported on that. We might talk about that on, tomorrow in Newswave as well, because they did report a bit more on the Switch Mini and when we can expect it. So why do I think this is fake? Well, there's a couple reasons why. Number one, if you remember, we have currently conflicting reports on if this thing is even going to dock or not. I believe Eurogamer believes it will not, and then we've heard other rumors that it will. It's kind of all over the place right now. And looking at this, it has the notch on the bottom that is pretty much just used for lining up in the dock. So if it's not going to be doing that, I don't know why it would even be there. It just seems like a waste of design. So that's one thing that kind of stuck out to me right away. And if we want to get very, very tactical and break this thing down, if we zoom in, so if we zoom in on this picture, we can actually get a clearer view than I thought I'd be able to with the resolution of this image of some of the letters and wording and stuff on the bottom here. First thing I noticed was the model number. I would expect the model number to be different from the Switch that you have maybe right now, or I have, which is an HAC001. However, the model number here is exactly the same, HAC001. All right, so that should be different for a Mini of some kind. I would expect the Pro to also have its own designation, and that would make sense. We also have the FCC ID down here, and that's generally marked for certification, and that goes for pretty much every consumer electronic has their own. So like your Switch has one right on the back. You can flip it over. It's right back here, and it is kind of hard to make out, but if you read it from your Switch and you kind of get a good look here, you can see that it matches up as you read through it. BKEHAC001. And you can kind of see it right there. If you put it in the GIMP or Photoshop and kind of play around with the contrast and everything, someone actually managed to do that, and it reads very similar to that. So I'm looking at this, and I don't... Some people might be kind of disappointed, and I'll tell you why, because I will admit the color looks... I think would be cool to have. Multiple colors would be really neat, because people obviously go crazy for Joy-Con colors. Why not make, the Switch Mini all kinds of different colors? I do actually think the Switch Mini is not going to just be a gray or a neon red or something like that. I think they are going to play around with the color, and it probably will be its own like limited edition color type thing, right? Like you're not going to find a Joy-Con with the same color. It'll be its own thing. I like this. It reminds me of the DSi. Remember that blue that we had for the DSi? I thought that was an all right color for that. But I see this as somebody who does the backings for the Switch that you can order as replacements, and they just kind of played around with it. That's my thought anyway. Also, I look at the back, and if it is a Switch Mini, I don't know why they wouldn't have something to designate it as that on the back. This just says Nintendo Switch. Maybe you have Nintendo Switch, and then like diagonally up there, you know, Mini, or next to it in smaller text, Mini, or whatever they call it, Lite, who knows. But I don't think it would just say Nintendo Switch on the back. They'd probably have some sort of marking alongside of it, or it'd be called something completely different, especially if it doesn't dock. We've discussed this. The Switch term doesn't make as much sense outside of just branding that we know at this point. But that's my thought on the Switch Mini leak. I don't think it's correct. I think it's just a fake. But a lot of people sent me this. Asking me about it and my thoughts. So I wanted to get them out there for you guys who were curious about that. And look, the Switch Mini, according to a lot of places, is probably going to be showing up soonish. Like Nintendo will probably show it to us. I figure it'd be at E3. At the latest, it'd probably be August, especially if they're going for a fall to Christmas release. So let me know what you guys think about this down below. It'll be fun to look back on this when the Mini is inevitably revealed, as most people believe it will be. And we can kind of look back on this much like we did kind of with the Foxconn leak and everything. Thanks guys for watching. Make sure you like the video if you liked it, dislike it if not, and I'll see you in the next video.